And I would say that the rebellion that I'm going to discuss really started when I was in high school because I was making up my own mind based off of things that I thought that I knew. And then when I got into college, it just kind of like created a hub to act on certain desires that I already had. Because some people would say like, oh, like colleges are liberal plantations. And I'm like, I guess I can see that. But I would say that it doesn't necessarily instill certain desires. It just kind of like amplifies things if you already have things in your heart. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Sweet, I'm so tired. Every dog must have his day. So moving on to college, this was an exciting time because this was like finally, okay, I can really start working towards my goal of being this strong career woman. So I ended up double majoring in marketing and also computer information systems. And I was a very hard worker. So I always had like 2 jobs at one time. So I was juggling 2 majors and I was juggling 2 jobs at a time. And then also getting involved with organizations. And I was doing everything besides drugs, okay? But I was also staying in church because my mom still had a level of influence on me where she was like, well, don't go throughout life being an orphan in a sense of like spiritually. Spiritually, don't be an orphan. Always be tied to a church. And I would say that like the church community is what kept me grounded in that stage. It really did. It kept me from going off like the deep end. When I think about that time period of me like trying to be rebellious, but still keeping this level of church in my life, they are what kept me from deviating into truly destructive paths. I would say that that church was kind of like the prototype of what a church should be, because no matter how much I would like push away or try to like not hang out with the people in the church, they would constantly invite me to things. Like literally they would invite me and I would be like, no, 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 until I started feeling bad. And I'm like, okay, well, they keep inviting me to this stuff, so let me start hanging out with them. And I would have a really good time. They would always keep me included. I remember like even I was doing fitness instructing. I was doing like a cardio dance class and the pastor's wife was like, well, why don't you do a dance class here? And let me tell you, I was so spiritually blind. I took that music, I brought it into the church. It's really one of my most embarrassing moments, to be honest. Like, I can't believe that I even brought that into the church. And, you know, they were smiling and, you know, they were uncomfortable, but they pushed through. I still incorporated some gospel music, but it was not all gospel music. And I appreciate those women having patience with me with where I was, because that's what really happened is like, I didn't know any better. Or maybe I did know better. I don't know. I was just so spiritually blind and out of it. Like it didn't even faze me. But being at this point in my life, I'm like, ooh, that was not a good look. I'm surprised that they didn't like lock me out the church. They are a great example of not judging individuals for where they are in life, because I never once felt judged by them, and I so appreciate them. I can remember even there was a time where I was headed to school after a break and my car broke down on the way, and one of the ladies that went to church with me, she picked me up in the rain, and I appreciated it. And that was a person that I wasn't even close with. But I believe that that was a testimony of just their life and how they blessed me. And like I said, they were the ones that kept me from going off the deep end, because like, how far can you go when people are cheering you on? That, you know, I was that lost sheep and they're like, you know, come back to the church. Come here. You know, we can have a good time in a godly way. So it just showed me something different. Sweet, I'm so tired. Every dog must have his day. So there's this other element where I knew where I want to go, and I would literally create goals to get there. So I was checking off the boxes with the organizations. I was checking off the boxes with like having certain jobs, but I also needed to make sure that I had internships. So one of the internships that I had was in DC. Mind you, I was living in the South at the time. So I think the most exciting part about that was not necessarily getting into all that stuff, but it was more of seeing people that looked like me doing well in their careers. Because I didn't really see that in the South as much. Where I was from, I just knew, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be here. I want to be just like them. So I kind of like set my sights on that even before I graduated. So I started applying as soon as I got back to school because that was a summer internship. I had gotten another internship working for this company while I was in school. So I was really setting my sights on becoming this woman, this strong, independent woman. And it was working after a lot of praying, after a lot of asking God repeatedly about me having this career. He opened up a door, and then he opened up another door where I could go to the DC area. So that was a blessing, because even though I deviated from the path, like God was still working in the midst of all of it because I'm still here today. So this was a place I was always meant to be, even though it started off with maybe bad intentions, if you know what I mean. Maybe not great intentions. So yeah, I graduated, got 2 different job offers, ended up moving out of state, and now we're gonna move on to my career because this was like the most interesting part. All right, let's go.